Hello everyone, and welcome back to another light novel review. I am the Rat, and this is The Rat's Nest. Today we are here with, if you're watching this at the time of uploading, the final Saturday of every Saturday uploading a light novel review. Woohoo, yay, we made it, yeah, woo, I'm clapping, you guys can't hear it over recording. But we are here, Mushoku Tensei Volume 16. This is actually the only one I'm recording after I knew that I would be uploading them every Saturday. All of them were pre-recorded. I was like, well, I got a couple. I was like, I'll upload them here at the end of Mushoku Tensei Season 2 Core 1's runtime. If you're watching this at the time of upload. In a couple of days, the last episode of Core 1 will come out, and that'll be a very, very sad day, but I'm very much looking forward to it as well. But we're not here today to talk about all that. I might touch on it a little bit more at the end of the episode. But today we are here to discuss peak fiction once again. Volume 16 isn't as peak as Volume 15 of no fault of its own. It's just that Volume 15 is simply one of my favorite works of literature ever written, and that is a little bit of a high bar to cross, to hit. But I loved Volume 16. Volume 16 actually has a special place to me, even though I can get into all that. It actually has a special place to me because in my room I have various decorations, right? Two things that I have is I have two wall scrolls of Mushoku Tensei covers that I got 2 years ago. And this was before 2 years ago, so it'd be 21. So roughly through 9 or so was translated, I believe. So like I didn't have the English cover. So I have in my room two wall scrolls, the cover of volume 12, and the volume of cover 16. And it's in the original Japanese. And so that's interesting. So I've been looking forward to Volume 16. I've seen the cover literally every day for the past 2 years. But it is a very, very good volume. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Again, coming into this, I actually couldn't remember specifically Volume 16 content as to like what exactly would be covered. And it's been too long at this point for me to really remember what all was in the web novel and kind of the comparisons there, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it. It's basically 16 and 17 are one arc, right? It's the Asura Kingdom getting Ariel on the throne, kind of post Turning Point 4 arc, Rudeus' first mission, whatever you want to call it, and that is the focus of this book. It's the first half of that. It's getting everything ready for them to march into Asura next volume to kind of say, hey, I'm Ariel, I'm here, you're dead, I'm killing you, I hate you. Every single fiber of my body says, get that fucking guy. I'm killing you right now. And so this is the setup for this. But we get some cool little moments. So before we get into the rest of things, I want to say a general spoiler warning. I love Mushoku Tensei. It's my favorite series. I have read through the entire web novel. I have read through Jobless, The Redundancy, Old Dragon's Tale. I'm not going to claim to know everything about Mushoku Tensei, but I want to say spoilers, fair game for everything involved there. I will be talking about this volume in the context of the series as a whole, not just on its own and in its own merits. So be advised, spoiler warning. The first part of this, basically, we get to see kind of Rudeus meet with Orsted a little bit. Their dynamic is super, super fun, and Orsted kind of fills him in. Basically like, okay, Rudeus, your first mission is you're getting this chick on the throne, right? I can't remember exactly off the top of my head everything that Ariel does with Asura, but I remember that it's necessary for something in the future with Orsted, just people that help him out or whatever. Obviously, he wants this. He's not very good. We kind of saw this last volume. He's not very good at hiding the fact that he's in a time loop. He's not very good at that at all. Rudeus even like unknowingly figures it out during during this volume. He's like I wonder if Orsted isn't in like a time slip, or I think time slip is how it's described here. Time loop. Rudeus figures out Orsted isn't roosted. What even? Oh my gosh, am I tired? It's just 4 p.m. I shouldn't be tired. Orsted, I don't know why I wanted to combine him and Rudeus. Orsted, he kind of slips up a little bit, but it also makes complete sense. Who has Orsted ever had to confide in and talk with as an equal before? So makes sense that he's hiding this. He's not really hiding. It's kind of He drops some pretty big hints, but he's like, okay, Rudeus, you're doing this. This is your first mission, right? We get some information on the past runs, for Rudeus is here, and he's like, oh, this is the future that Orsted sees, but obviously we know that these are the past loops of Orsted, where Luke and Eris got together, interestingly enough, and Roxy and Sylphie never did. They never got together. Yeah, they never got together with each other. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. No. But they never got together with anyone else. So it's just interesting little tidbits. And then Orsted gives Rudeus a scroll, and it's like, all right. You wanted something to help protect you and your family from Hitogami, right? I can appreciate that. I like you. I like what you're doing here. Here's a scroll. All right, and it says to summon a guardian beast, and then that's kind of the next big thing that happens this volume is Rudeus doing that. And that was very, very fun. I remembered this from the web novel. I was looking forward to it for a while. Whenever he gets everyone together and he's like very formally like, oh yes, today we shall go and chill and vibe and stuff. And he summons Armanfi of the Bright from Perugius. And everyone's just like, what? Oh, it's good. I think another interesting thing, aside from the humor of just summoning him, which is like it's pretty based on Rudeus' part, right? It's pretty based on Rudeus' part. Is we get to see from Armanfi, and this was kind of the topic of the discussion, where obviously no one except for Rudeus trusts Orsted, and we kind of see that at the end with the boys' night out, which I love and we'll get into. But no one trusts Orsted. And that makes complete sense. He has the curse of hatred on him. No one should trust him. The people of this world are inherently distrustful of him, except for Rudeus and Nanahoshi and their kids. Rudeus and Nanahoshi's kids. That's so true. Man, I wish Banana Hoshi fans be like, oh, geez, I'm tired. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. But no one trusts him, so you get the summoning circle, right? And all the wives are like, now, Rudeus, I love you, right? You're a cool guy. How do we know that this isn't going to summon, like, death and kill us all? And Rudeus is like, well, I trust him. I trust Orsted. He's like, he doesn't know anything about summoning circles, so he can't be like, oh, whatever. But he just trusts Orsted, and obviously the others can. So he's like, whatever. If it's something bad, I can kill it. But he does doubt a little bit, but he still goes through it. Armanfi comes out based, right? And that's when we learn he's like, okay. He's like, this is an annoying circle that you summoned me through, because I have to listen to everything you do. I have to protect your family. All these like conditions and stuff. You have to manually break our contract, like all these strict conditions and everything. And it's great because it shows how much Orsted cares about Rudeus, right? And I don't know if cares is the right word, but he makes good on his word. He absolutely makes good on his word. Orsted here is like, yeah, no, like he promised that he'd get a guardian beast to protect the family, and so he did. He very much he very much did, and he put all those things on the circle, much to Armanfi's annoyance. It's a good bit. That's good. He's obviously pissed off, and he's like, all right. He's like, hey, miscreant, break the contract. I'm going back to Perugius. Like, I can't stand to be around you worms for a second longer than I have to be. I'll get him to make you a new circle. So Rudeus does. He goes off. A little bit later, he comes back, freshly tied, and Perugius has given Rudeus a new circle. And with this new circle, Rudeus pulls through, and he's like, okay, last time the summoning thoughts were a little bit vague. This time, though, we're going more specific, and he asks for a dog. He asks for a dog for Christmas, and he gets a dog for Christmas. He pulls out none other than Leo. It's Leo. Hi, Leo. Good to see you again. He pulls out none other than the sacred beast of the beast people. Based. Rudeus can't stop winning. He can't stop winning. We're going to win so much, you're going to be sick of winning. You're going to say, oh, please, Rudeus, please stop winning. He gets the sacred beast, and he's like, is this the sacred beast? He's like, no, this can't be the sacred beast. If it was the sacred beast, I might be in trouble, right? This can't be the sacred beast. This has to be a lion. This is obviously a mighty, majestic lion, and funny scene. Obviously, I really love Leo. We kind of get to see later Leo just, being the family protector, and everyone gets along with him. He goes for walks with Eris. Roxy rides him, and he's very protective of Roxy. Obviously, we know this is because of Lara, who Roxy is currently pregnant with, and Lara being the quote-unquote chosen hero of this world, which admittedly I don't know how much. That's something so I've been thinking of, slight tangent, I've been thinking of what videos to make after the Mushoku Tensei anime Season 2 Core 1 ends. Obviously, I'll still have some light novel reviews to do. But I've been thinking of doing some discussion videos. One video that I want to do definitely is who the protagonist of the sequel series is going to be. Obviously, the two frontrunners are Lara and Akito, but I really want to look into kind of everything around that and just really like dig deep into that. That's something I definitely want to look into. That's side tangent aside. If you're watching this way past the upload date, that video might already be out. I don't know, right? But I really love the Gray Rat family pets. Jiro is probably, I don't know, because I really like Leo, right? But I also really like Jiro. The treant Bite. I can't remember what his name was in the web novel. I know in the light novel it's Bit, I think. B-Y-T. Maybe it's Bite. I don't know. Bite. Whatever. Who cares? I don't care. I pronounced Rudeus wrong too, apparently. So what's one more word? I know Jiro is technically Dello in the light novel translations. Jiro sounds cooler, so I'm going to keep calling him Jiro in the same way that I'm never going to call Hitogami Man God. It does get a little bit odd sometimes talking with Kyle about it because he only knows him as Man God, right? I wouldn't expect him to call him Hitogami. But obviously I know him as Hitogami. I think in the manga he's straight up Hitogami. Obviously in the light novels he's Man God. Some of the translation choices are interesting, right? As they always are. But I think that most of them are pretty good. But yeah, so that's basically the first part of this book, right? Rudeus gets his first mission. He summons Leo. Oh, awesome. Sweet. I love Leo. He's a great dog. The next part of this book is all stuff to do with Ariel. And basically, Orsted is like, look, the king's going to fall ill in about a month. News will reach here about then that the king's fallen ill. Ariel's going to need to go back, right? You need to get her ready, right? You need to have her get Perugius' support. Because with Perugius, then you have... Because originally, in the original timeline, Derek Redback convinced Perugius to support Ariel. Whatever he knew, he had the answer, right? He had the answer that led him convince Perugius to support Ariel. Now, Derek's dead, obviously. And Ariel needs Perugius' support to win. The other thing is Tristina Purple Horse, I think her name is. Tristina Purple Horse, which is Triss, the little bandit chick from the journal, which is kind of insane. That's kind of an insane coinkydink there. Because she holds the key to taking down High Minister Darius. Obviously, he's a big bad dude. I can't remember who kills him in 17. I'm looking forward to that again. It's a very fun sequence of events at the secession battle that leads to Ariel getting the throne. But she's the key to taking him and his influence down. And so this is all about Rudeus is like, okay. He goes, he pledges his support formally to Ariel, like, hey, I'm here, like, I want to help you to the throne. But he kind of keeps his intentions a secret because we also see here, this is the beginning we see because Luke comes to him, I think before he even made his pronouncement public. I think Sylphie talked to him too as well. Luke comes to him and asks him to support Ariel. And this is where we kind of see where he's like, and I really like this part where we have to start thinking about who is Hitogami controlling. Because up to this point, we've seen Hitogami in the foreground and Orsted in the background. Orsted has been back somewhere doing stuff. He hasn't really been an active antagonist. He's just kind of been a looming threat. And so post Turning Point 4, obviously these roles are reversed. We only see Hitogami, I think, 2 more times in the series because we have, if I'm remembering, I'm probably remembering wrong. I don't know if the light novels changed stuff. The time where Rudeus' arm is cut off in the final battle, Turning Point 5, where his ring is no longer connected to him and Hitogami talks to him there. Hitogami talks to him at one time when he's like 38 or something, and one of his kids takes off his ring. And so Hitogami talks to him there. And that's whenever he gets like a vision of his death. And then at the very end of his life, when he dies, Hitogami talks to him there. So I think we see Hitogami 3 more times this entire series, which is crazy for how huge a character he is, right? To only see the main antagonist 3 more times. But I really, really like the kind of switch in perspectives there. Well, now Orsted is in the forefront role. Now Hitogami is in the back seat and he's controlling people. And we have to think, okay, who are his apostles, right? Who are his apostles? I don't think they use the word apostles in the light novel. I'm going to use apostles, I guess, until I get translated out of it, I guess. Apostles is just a cleaner word to me. I think I like it more. But so we get to see all of that sweet, awesome. You love to see it. And Luke is a theoretical apostle. It adds another layer to the rest of the story, is having to think, what is Hitogami trying to do in the background? And then how do I hide Orsted's moves? Because as Rudeus is kind of thinking throughout this volume, Orsted has before, like, there's never been a way for Hitogami to really keep track of him. But also because of his curses, he's never been able to do too much himself. Now I'm here, so he can do a ton more. Orsted can do so much more than he ever could before. But now also, Hitogami can, not see Rudeus because of Orsted putting the magic and the ring on him, right? He can't see Rudeus, but there is a more clear indication of what Orsted is doing through what Rudeus does. So Rudeus here is being a little coy about it. He's not telling Ariel that this is what Orsted wants. He actually denies it. He actually denies that this is what Orsted wants because, again, the thought is that Luke is an apostle, and obviously we know that is true. And Orsted is like, yeah, no, Luke's an apostle, a little bit, but he's like, yeah, Luke is absolutely an apostle. Thinking of the other two apostles at this time, it's Luke. Rada, I know, is an apostle, and I don't know if it's Darius or Aber. I can't remember because this is also the volume where we're introduced to the fact Hitogami can have 3 apostles. Big funny number 3, right? He can talk to 3 people at one time. Because Orsted theorizes, I think that this is it, is that it's a limit on how far, whose futures he can see. But he can only basically have 3 apostles at a time. And so right now we know obviously Luke. I'm like 99% certain that Rada is, and I cannot remember if in this volume it said Aber or Darius was. Maybe it was Luke and Darius were like the 100% that Orsted said, and then it was like the last one is either Rada or Aber, and I'm pretty sure Rada is the apostle there. I know they're both in Asura, but it's very interesting. It's going to be cool to see. I can't remember. That's the beauty of rereading this after 3-4 years. It's been a second. But yeah, no, all this stuff with Ariel, I absolutely love. So we get to just see a bunch of different interactions of her and Rudeus, and her and Rudeus interacting are always funny. She's a very fun character with all that. I like the way that she's portrayed, especially in this volume, being very much so on the end of her rope, kind of like we've never seen her before. She's always been this kind of calm, collected, planned ahead character. But here she's very kind of behind. I guess we kind of got to see a bit of this side of her in volume 14 with being completely and utterly unprepared for Perugius. But now we get to see very much more of it where she's, at the end of her rope, she's kind of given up a little bit. And she's kind of like, very self-deprecating. And it's very interesting for her character. Ariel is, I wouldn't say one of the main supporting characters, but she's a very commonly recurring character. Obviously, after volume 17, her kind of quote-unquote importance to the story kind of drops off pretty decently. But for her role, I absolutely love her character and what we get to see of her. And not just her role as the princess or her role as Rudeus' friend, but her role as Sylphie's friend, obviously being a big thing. That gives Sylphie a lot of character, I think. Her having a life outside of Rudeus and kind of just like their two lives just intersecting instead of one being built around the other. I really, really like that. Obviously, after this, she, becomes, full-time, but it's I really like to see that whenever we get to see that there's Sylphie outside of what we through Rudeus' eyes get to see. I think that adds a lot of depth to her character that I really enjoy getting to see. But yeah, I really like Ariel. everything here where we get to see her down and she doesn't know what to do, and Rudeus formally pledges his support, and all the kind of mind games is Luke being an apostle versus Luke not being an apostle. What's Hitogami cooking up in the kitchen, right? For real, bussin' for real. Kind of what's all going there. I really enjoyed all of that. And then Ariel hits a dead end where she's like, I don't know what to do, and so Orsted recommends to Rudeus. He's like, there is in the demon continent a demon king who loves books and hoards books and copies books. You will find stuff. Look into Gaunus, Free, and Asura, the first king of Asura, there, and you should find the answer. And he said, if nothing else, you'll find this book. And he kind of draws him a cover, and we don't know what it is. He gives it to Rudeus. Rudeus is like, all right, bet, pog. And so then we get a nice scene with Rudeus and Ariel, and they're kind of in Brugius's castle and all that. We get to see her kind of at her lowest, and he's like, well, there's this library labyrinth that Orsted told me about. We could hit it up, see what's going on, right? And so they do, and this is all very interesting. So the party is Rudeus, Eris, Sylphie, Luke, Ariel, and Ghislaine. That's 6. If I'm remembering the party correctly, I may or may not be. But that's the party. Ghislaine is interesting because her new role is protecting Ariel, because her whole thing now is she's looked after Eris, and we kind of saw that in the last chapter with her and Ellen Elise, which I really enjoyed getting to see. But she's like, okay, I've protected Eris. Now I'm going to get revenge on the people who killed Saros. Obviously, that was mainly Grabble and Darius. And so her going back there, she's going to get the chance to do that. I could just be completely blanking. This is another thing I can't remember if it was in the web novel or not. It probably was, and I just don't remember it. Or maybe it was a light novel edition. I genuinely can't remember much of Ghislaine in the later light novel. Maybe it's been forever since I've read it. I thoroughly apologize if I've forgotten that. But I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I like it. This entire library section was extremely fun. Obviously, the kind of quote-unquote main part of the book. We get to see them traveling through the library labyrinth. They're researching, set up their stuff, whatever, looking into books. They got all the little familiars around. What I really enjoy getting to see, though, is Rudeus meeting the Demon King, this big slime thing, whatever. And we get to see that he's copying down Rudeus's journal that Rudeus is writing in. I say journal. Some people say diary. Maybe it's technically diary. I don't know. I say journal because I'm cool and manly, so I say journal. But getting to see that was a really fun interaction with the Demon King realizing, oh, this guy's talking to me. And then, Rudeus being like, oh, we're pogging, all that. Can you help us? And he's like, go search for yourself. But because you brought a very interesting book, I'll let you ask one question. I'll help you with one thing. And so Rudeus is like, okay. And so what it is, so the book that he brought, he's like, okay, so this guy, I brought my future journal back, and now I'm continuing to write in the journal. So he's like, I brought in a book from the future, and then I'm writing its sequel in the past. And so he's like, I can see how that'd be an interesting series to collect. It's like, that's pretty cool. This Demon King, obviously an extremely minor character, but very, very cool in that. And Rudeus is like, okay, well, can you help me find this book? And he shows him the picture that Orsted drew for him. And the slime thing looks at it, he finds it. And Rudeus reads it and finds out that this is the diary of Derek Redbat. And that's like, whoa, okay, now we're cooking with gas, right? Now we're cooking with gas. And that's so obviously he gives it immediately to Ariel, and Ariel gives it to Luke to read. And he's like, all right, no, we got it. But then the familiars get a little bit mad because Luke is a little baby, little crybaby, little stupid little idiot, and he cried on the stupid book, and it ruined the ink, and then it was unreadable in like a couple words. And so the familiars were like, yeah. No, y'all are cooked. I'm sorry for real. Y'all cooked, bro, for real, dog. I ain't even capping nothing, like, for real, though. That's what the familiars were like. And so Rudeus is like, I'm sorry I didn't mean this to happen, but they keep coming after him. So then we have the library escape. There's a couple close calls. Just some fun little combat action. I can't wait to see it animated. It's going to be very, very fun to see. I think these are going to be some fun little action set pieces here, and in the midst of all the politics and drama. It's very fun to see, I think, looking through all of it. And then they get out. Obviously, Rudeus burning bridges with this Demon King, where they're never going to be able to come back because he kind of destroyed a couple of books in leaving, but he feels a little bit bad about that. But Orsted's like, yeah, no, never go back there. And he's like, dang, that sucks. But it's all Luke's fault. It's all Hitogami's plot. It's all part of Hitogami's plan. But this is a really fun section. Being the main selling point, got a lot of fun banter. Obviously, anything with Eris is based because Eris is the best husband. And just getting to see that it was Derek Redbat's journal. That was a really cool thing. And Ariel from it got the answer. And she was like, okay, this is the answer. This is what Derek would know, because they were thinking about it. And they were like, Derek would know. Derek would know what made you king. And it's actually Luke that brought that up. So Rudeus listened to that and was like, okay, that's probably Hitogami at work here. But it's also the question of why is Hitogami, working with Luke? And I don't know if it was Orsted or Rudeus was like, yeah, it's probably he's working with him to, at the last second, make him do something that was like, okay, maybe we're not cooking so much here. To look at Old Dragon's Tale, it's like, okay, you got the, Hitogami obviously messing with the Dragon Generals in their loyalty to Dragon God and their utmost loyalty to Dragon God, working them against Dragon God. And so I think it's kind of a similar thing here where it's like a betrayal at the end. Maybe not as abject of a betrayal, but interesting. I can't remember exactly how Volume 17 goes, but I know at the end Luke reveals about being an apostle and all these kind of things. I remember it was a very, very good scene. I remember getting into it again. But then we get to the climax of the volume, basically. We get to Ariel going back to Perugius and being like, I have your answer. The most important quality a king can have. Now, I genuinely couldn't remember. I genuinely couldn't remember what it was. I've been very, very much looking forward to remember what the answer was to this question, right? And Ariel says, as she said, the determination to carry on the will of those who came before. And Perugius is like, wrong. And Ariel's like, no. Like, that's right. Like, that's the type of king I'm going to be, right? If you don't like it, then I don't need your support, right? If you don't like that, then getting your support would actively hinder me. But that's the type of king that I'm going to be. That I will be the one who I have the determination to carry on the will of those who came before me. And obviously, earlier we got to see kind of her talking about the people who died for her to even get this far. And all of that. So this has been kind of a theme, and so this was a very great answer, and I really liked her approach to it. Of like this is I don't care what answer you're searching for. This is my answer. This is the type of king I'm going to be. If you want to support that, great. I welcome your support. If you don't agree with that, then I don't need your support. It would just get in my way. And that's pretty ballsy. And Rudeus was like, I kind of need you to get this job, Aaron. Perugius thinks it down, and he's like, I support you. He pledges his support to Ariel. This is huge. Obviously, this makes her faction just as powerful as the first prince's, and with Darius being taken down, it'll be even more powerful. He's like, call me when you're ready. I'll leave the preparations up to you. And Ariel's like, I bet. And it's a great moment. And they all kind of leave, and Rudeus stays back. And Perugius asks him, like, you have a question? And he's like, what was the answer? That wasn't the answer you were searching for, so why? And he kind of goes on to talk about Gaunus a bit. And he's like, even through all that, the thing that Gaunus said, an ideal king would carry on the will of those who came before. And so Ariel didn't fit Perugius's idea of an ideal king. She didn't fit the one thing that an ideal king should have. She fit Gaunus's. She fit the first king of Asura. And because of that, Perugius pledged his support. And that's really cool. I really like that. I was trying to remember what it was. I was like, well, I kind of hope it's not just like, you just have to choose an answer and be steadfast in it. Perugius was looking for an actual answer. But I really like this because it shows, obviously Ariel is more of Gaunus's ideal king. And, is Gaunus's ideal king like ideal? Because knowing who Gaunus is, I don't know, but he was a very great man. So for her to fit his idea of an ideal king, and obviously knowing Ariel, she's very genuine in that sentiment. It's a very cool thing. I really enjoyed this answer and everything, and just really fun to kind of quote unquote wrap up all the Ariel stuff. She announces that her father is sick. They'll be going back soon. Get your things ready, Rudeus. We're heading out. And I think it's this volume where Rudeus is like tells his family like, okay, I'm leaving. And everyone's like, okay, cool, whatever, bring me back this, whatever. And he's like, aren't you guys worried? And they're like, well, the last couple times you said that you were leaving and made a big deal about it, you came back way earlier and you were fine. So, and it's like, well, not entirely, but he's like, I guess I get it. I guess I get it. But just fun little things. And then that's the main meat of this volume. And then we get into kind of the end of it. We got the boys night out and the girls meeting, and then the extra chapter. The boys' night out, I love. I mean, I absolutely love it whenever the main character in a series has friends, because that's male friends, because that's kind of rare in isekai. But I love Zenoba and Cliff, and I've talked on it before with the Turning Point 4 and talking about the journal and everything. Just seeing how devoted Zenoba and Cliff are to Rudeus, and Rudeus himself recognizing that. He's like, these guys are true friends. And the boys' night out is Zenoba and Cliff kind of call him out to talk like, hey, like we know what's cooking, right? That Orsted guy, we obviously lost to him. You're forced to help him. I met him. He's horrible. He's awful. I know it's real. I know it's real. You're actually just pretending to serve him, and that's why you need us to make modifications to the magic armor, so that we can wear it and we can help you fight him in the future. And Rudeus is like, huh? Yeah, he's like, bro is absolutely flabbergasted. It's great. It's really fun. But Rudeus tries explaining, like, look, he just has a curse that makes everyone hate him, and that doesn't work. So he's like, yeah, no, that's it. He's like, Rudeus is like, well, I'm gonna have to lie to him here, but hopefully in the future, he's gonna get Cliff to work on a magical implement that will dampen Orsted's curse and make him like have his curse effect of hatred not work. Obviously, this is I am 99% sure this is Orsted's funny helmet, right? That he wears. 99% sure that's what this is. But Cliff agrees to work on it, and then they just get hammered and have fun, and then make a new prosthetic hand. That's kind of, I think, the precursor to the Mark Zero magic armor. That I can't wait for Rudeus to get in and wear under. It's the ultimate drip, right? Is that the cloak that Orsted gives him? That I forgot that Orsted gave him that cloak. His final end game cloak. I love it, the drip, and then he got the Mark Zero magic armor under him. It's peak character design. What can I say other than it's peak character design? I really enjoy it. The whole boys' night out thing, very, very fun to read, and the girls' night out thing, very fun to read as well. It's just a very great character stuff. I can't wait to see this animated. It's going to be a blast. It was an absolute blast to read, because I love these characters. I love getting to see them be characters and be themselves, and kind of just get to see a bunch of different aspects of them, and get to see a bunch of different parts of their character. I very, very thoroughly enjoyed that. The one kind of questionable thing is Lilia being like, why won't Rudeus have sex with my daughter? Don't worry, Lilia. We'll get there. We'll get there with the Aisha and Ars thing. Which, another side tangent, post Season 2 Core 1, I will be making a discussion video on Ars X Aisha, that redundancy story. Maybe it'll be a video essay if I want to go the whole 9 yards with it. I'll have to see. That's another video I'm absolutely doing. Because, gosh darn it, I like that redundancy. That's the hot take of the video, is I like that. I've said it before. I've said that before. I like the redundancy. That's still, this is just more fuel on the Lilia maybe being not the best person. kind of thing, but maybe being a little misguided with some of her ideals there. Maybe being a little misguided with that, but very, very fun to see. And then the extra chapter with Ghislaine and Elise was very fun as well. Getting to see them reminisce and everything was fun. Good to see more of Ghislaine's character. Good to see more of Elise. Big fan of Elise. But it's a very, very good extra chapter that I thoroughly enjoyed reading. And that is, everyone, Volume 16 of Mushoku Tensei, or Jobless Reincarnation, if you're less cool. So that's Volume 16. It was a very, very good volume. I can't wait for Volume 17. And also, yes, so I kind of talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but if you're watching this at the time of upload, this is the end of Saturday uploads. And then also 2 days from now on Monday will be the end of Season 2 Core 1, unless it has 13 episodes, and I'm just digging my grave here. So the reason it's through 16, there's some of you might be wondering, 16, that's kind of a not stopping point, because 16 is up to all the light novels that I have purchased. I have 18, but I actually don't have 17. So my plan is to get 17 as soon as possible, read through that and 18, and then review and post those. I can't make an exact time frame, though. Theoretically, next Saturday, 17 could be out. If you're watching this in the future, 17 is already likely out. But if you're watching this at the time of upload, theoretically, next Saturday, 17 could be out. But also, I'm not going to make any promises just because school can get kind of crazy sometimes, just with everything. And obviously, that's the priority. But it's been an absolute blast. Been a blast talking with you all in the comments. Leave any comments and thoughts on this video below. I'm happy to take all those ideas and talk with you all about them, because there's some fun discussion to be had, even over kind of a lower key volume like 16 as opposed to 14 or 15. I very thoroughly enjoyed it, and also I'll say this here. I'll say this at the end of Season 2 Core 1 video as well. If you have any suggestions for stuff you'd like to see in the future, obviously coming to the end of this anime season, what kind of stuff do you want to see? Do you want to see? Obviously, I'll be doing more Mushoku Tensei volume reviews. Would you all be interested in seeing? I've been thinking of going through and doing manga volume reviews and talking about the adaptation of the manga and how it was adapted and all of that. Because I actually hold the unpopular opinion of liking the manga. That's my genuine, unfiltered opinion. Is I do like the manga, and so that kind of thing. Would that be something you guys are interested in? Just let me know. Let me know below. Let's discuss stuff in the comments. I always really enjoy it. But yeah, that's been Volume 16. I cannot wait for Volume 17 whenever I buy it off of Amazon. So, if you are this far in the video, then obviously there is something you like. So make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling me what your favorite part of this volume was, or like the stuff I said previously. That's just kind of part of my closing spiel. So with all that said, thank you all for watching. I hope that you all enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye.